In the year 1943, as the world burned in the flames of World War II, a young soldier named William Carter found himself stationed in the dense forests of France. He was a simple man from Ohio, drafted into a war he never wished to fight. Each night, under the pale moonlight, he would write letters to his beloved wife, Eleanor, back home. "My dearest Eleanor," he wrote one evening, "the war grows darker with each passing day. The men around me are weary, their eyes hollow with fear and loss. I find solace only in the thought of your smile, your warm embrace waiting for me when this madness ends." The battlefield was a cruel and merciless place. William had seen friends fall beside him, their lives snatched away in an instant. He had seen villages reduced to ashes, the laughter of children replaced by the cries of the wounded. He knew he was lucky to still be breathing, but he wondered how much longer that luck would last. One cold December night, William's unit received orders to advance on a heavily fortified German position. The mission was dangerous, nearly suicidal, yet as a soldier he had no choice but to obey. Before leaving, he wrote what would become his final letter. "My love," he wrote, "if this letter reaches you, it means I did not make it home. But do not grieve for me, for I have lived with love in my heart. Remember me not as a soldier, but as the man who adored you with every breath. If fate allows, we shall meet again beyond the veil of this world." The battle was fierce. William fought with every ounce of strength he had, but in the chaos, he was struck by enemy fire. As he lay on the cold ground, his breath shallow, he clutched his last letter, whispering Eleanor's name one last time before darkness consumed him. Months later, Eleanor received the letter. Tears streamed down her face as she read the words of her beloved. She held the paper close to her heart, vowing never to forget the man who had given everything for a world he would never see again. Decades passed, but William's letters remained carefully preserved in a wooden box, a testament to love, sacrifice, and the echoes of a war that had stolen too many lives. Years passed, and Eleanor lived with William's memory etched into her heart. She never remarried, choosing instead to dedicate her life to preserving the letters he had written. Every year, on the anniversary of his death, she would sit by the window, read his final words, and whisper a prayer for the man she had loved and lost. As time moved forward, the world changed. The war ended, nations rebuilt, and new generations were born, unaware of the sacrifices made before them. But for Eleanor, the war had never truly ended. It lived in the silence of her empty home, in the echoes of a voice that once called her name, in the feel of paper aged by time, yet still holding the essence of love. In 1995, as Eleanor grew old and frail, she made a decision. She donated William's letters to a war museum, hoping that his words would remind future generations of the cost of war and the depth of love that could survive even the darkest of times. One day, a young historian named James Mitchell came across the letters. He was captivated by William's words, by the raw emotion woven into each line. Inspired, he decided to write a book about the letters, telling the story of a soldier who had fought not for glory, but for love. The book became widely known, touching the hearts of many. People from all over the world read about William and Eleanor, about their devotion and sacrifice. Schools began teaching their story, and veterans who had once been forgotten found solace in knowing that their experiences would not be lost to history. Eleanor lived long enough to see the book published. On her final day, she held the first copy in her hands, running her fingers over the words that carried William's name. With a peaceful smile, she whispered, "You are remembered, my love." And as she closed her eyes for the last time, she could almost feel his arms around her, welcoming her home at last.